Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 158 based on novel. So let's start. All of this happened in the instant the Heaven Commander-in-Chief and the Golden Armored Man's spells collided. The Heaven Commander-in-Chief was surprised, as he would have never expected his result. He was extremely close to the Golden Armored Man, so he immediately noticed that the Golden Armored Man had suffered serious injuries. And it wasn't just one serious injury but two. If his spell landed, the Golden Armored Man would die for sure. He had acted not to kill but to stop the Golden Armored Man, so he immediately withdrew his attack without any hesitation. But from the point of view of outsiders, the Golden Armored Man had taken a hit from the Heaven Commander-in-Chief and was seriously injured. The Heaven Commander-in-Chief's eyes were filled with shock as he withdrew his spell, took several steps back, and looked at the Golden Armored Man. The Golden Armored Man's body trembled and he coughed out a big mouthful of blood. All of the demonic spiritual energy in his body was gone and cracks had appeared on his meridians. At this moment, he turned from a fierce dragon into an insect. That snort was too terrifying. It was countless times stronger than the Demon Emperor's. No, it can't even be described as countless times. It was on a completely different level. He didn't want to kill me. If he really wanted to kill me, I would have already died. The Golden Armored Man was injured twice in a row. All of the demonic spiritual energy in his body had collapsed, his face was pale, and cold sweat soaked his body. At this moment, the Golden Armored Man's serious injuries looked like they were caused by the Heaven Commander-in-Chief, but Wang Lin was very close and knew that the Heaven Commander-in-Chief's spell hadn't even landed on the Golden Armored Man. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he suppressed the doubt in his heart. Right now was the best moment to kill this Golden Armored Man. No matter why he had suffered such serious injuries, if Wang Lin didn't kill him now, then he wouldn't be Wang Lin. Without any hesitation, he lifted his right hand from the drum and grabbed the weakened man in golden armor. Killing intent filled Wang Lin's eyes, and without any hesitation, he slammed the Golden Armored Man into the demon drum. When the Golden Armored Man's body violently collided with the demon drum, blood mist came out from his already weakened body and he coughed out a large mouthful of blood onto the demon drum. Wang Lin's right hand contained all of the sadness in his heart. This was the final attack he would use in the soul transformation stage. He would cast away all of the sadness in his heart with this attack. At the moment the Golden Armored Man collided with the demon drum, all of the sadness in Wang Lin's right arm rushed out. It pierced through the Golden Armored Man's body and into the demon drum. Dong! The drum echoed. The violent rebound went into the Golden Armored Man's body without any hesitation. At the moment the drum rang, the Golden Armored Man, the Golden Chief Steward, Ji Wushu's body exploded into a bloody mist and was scattered by the sound of the drum. The Golden Armored Man's body shattered and he died a miserable death. Even his soul was shattered by the sound of the drum, so all traces of him in this world had completely disappeared. 5 rings from the drum take 1 arm, 10 rings from the drum take 2 arms, 15 rings from the drum. What was taken this time was his life. The person who killed him wasn't Wang Lin but the person who seriously injured him. If only one of the voices had come, then he wouldn't have been injured so seriously that he couldn't even defend himself, he wouldn't have become immortal. However, those 2 snorts caused a powerhouse of the Sky Demon country who was extremely famous to become a waste. Then adding on Wang Lin's deceptive personality, all of this costed him his life. The young man on the boat was startled and muttered, "Dead." How did it turn out like this? That he suddenly noticed something and his eyes became cold. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he suddenly looked into the distance. It was as if his eyes could see through Sky Demon City and pierce the void. But then he quickly lowered his head as if nothing had happened. At the square, the Heaven Commander-in-Chief was the closest to Wang Lin. At this moment, he looked at Wang Lin and felt the defying intent from Wang Lin. He revealed a look of an elder looking at a junior in admiration for the junior's talent. At this moment, he felt as if he was seeing himself from back then, his life if he had chosen not to give up back then. The other 7 Commander-in-Chiefs all looked at Wang Lin with very complex feelings. Their focus wasn't on Wang Lin's cultivation, but the fact that he rang the drum 15 times. 15 times. This surpassed everyone else, making Wang Lin the person who rang the drum the most amount of times in the Sky Demon country. The Vice Commander-in-Chiefs had long been shocked into silence. The Xian Vice Commander-in-Chief took a deep breath of cold air. His cultivation, which had been stuck for so long, was on the verge of a breakthrough. This was all because of the sound of Wang Lin's marrow cleansing and the change his heart experienced through Wang Lin. The sober spectators no longer looked at Wang Lin with shock in their eyes but instead respect. The respect for the strong in the demon spirit land. Among the demon generals, there was complete silence. Mo Lehai looked at Wang Lin's figure and he knew that there was no suspense about him becoming the Vice Commander-in-Chief anymore. The 15th ring from the drum echoed across the sky. Although there was a scent of blood in this sound, there was also unimaginable sadness. The sadness fused with sound of the drum and was spread far and wide by the drum. At this moment, lightning moved like silver snakes in the sky and thunder echoed violently. But when the 15th ring from the drum appeared, everything seemed to fuse. The raging thunder seemed to have absorbed the sadness from the sound of the drum. At this moment, an unimaginable sadness came from the thunder and the drum and spread across the sky, affecting the entire Sky Demon City. This 15th ring was even more powerful than the previous 14 rings combined. This ring from the drum represented Wang Lin's Tao, his sadness, his complete Tao heart, and a true heaven-defying cultivation path. This sadness, thanks to the help of the thunder, was no longer human sadness but the sadness of the heavens. Everyone in Sky Demon City felt this sadness and subconsciously cried. On the boat, the woman who played the zither felt the sadness and began to gently play a song. Wang Lin raised his head as he looked at the sky and whispered, "I retained my attachment. The heavens Tao is the way of the heavens." Even the mortal royal families have said that the true rulers of the world weren't the kings. The heavens Tao is boundless, it extends across the universe and is everywhere. Let alone the demon spirit land, even if it was the cave of a celestial, the heavens Tao wouldn't stop descending. Because everything in the world is the heavens Tao, if it exists, it is because the heavens Tao allows it exist. Heavens Tao, descend. The heavens Tao is normally invisible, and when it turns visible and descends, there is only one name, divine retribution. With the destruction of the celestial realm, divine retribution disappeared. But what disappeared wasn't the real divine retribution, it was merely the celestial retribution created by celestials. The real divine retribution is a punishment from the heavens, and it won't disappear due to a realm being destroyed. It will only appear when it is supposed to appear. The appearance of a true heaven-defying cultivator is the condition for divine retribution to appear. Outside the demon spirit land at the gate to the East Demon Spirit Sea, it was completely dark. There were specks of light in the distance lighting up part of the area. Just at this moment, a ray of light arrived from the void at a speed no cultivator or spell could achieve. There was only one word to describe this speed, and that was descending. Descending has already broken the limit of speed. It can even be said that it can no longer be described with words. Anywhere in the universe, with but a thought, it can descend. The red cloud descends from space. It comes from the void, and no knows where it originated. The moment this red light descended, an aura that would make all life in the universe tremble began to spread. On planet Chen Yun, the All-Seer had his eyes closed and was preparing for the plan in 200 years. At this moment, he suddenly opened his eyes, and they revealed a mysterious light as he looked into space. His expression slightly changed and then his hand formed a seal. After calculating for a while, he frowned and muttered, "Divine retribution has descended. With the interference of the heavens' might, I can't clearly calculate everything. But I was able to calculate that the divine retribution descended on the demon spirit land and has something to do with my planet Chen Yun. Strange." On planet Da Lu in the Da Lu Sword Sect, Sword Saint Lin Qianhu was standing next to a giant pill furnace, and his eyes were glowing. This fundamental good luck pill still requires a few auxiliary pills. Just at this moment, his expression suddenly changed. He took one step before completely disappearing and reappearing in space above the planet. He looked at the red light with surprise in his eyes. Divine retribution. He frowned and showed a look of uncertainty on his face. After carefully watching the light disappear, he muttered to himself, "The divine retribution is descending on the demon spirit land. Not good. Could it be that something happened to greed?" Lin Chinho's eyebrows were locked. At the same time, at a planet very far from the planet Qianyun. From the outside, this planet looked to be covered in blood. This was a blood planet. There was a blood pavilion on the blood planet, and a red-haired and red-eyebrowed man was sitting inside it. He looked to be about 40 years old, and he was silently cultivating. He suddenly opened his eyes and a blood-colored light poured out of them. He didn't raise his head but silently experienced the shockwave created when the heavens might passed by. After a long time, he closed his eyes. Divine retribution descended on the demon spirit land. I wonder how that child Shishue is doing. Not only those three, but many of the old monsters noticed the divine retribution when it descended. Nothing could stop the red light from descending. Although the gate at the East Demon Spirit Sea wasn't open, the red light still managed to pierce through it. On the square in the Imperial City in the Sky Demon Country, Wang Lin was silently floating there. After the drum rang for the 15th time, the domain inside his body started going through a metamorphosis at an unimaginable speed. The ascendant stage requires one to have enough celestial spiritual energy and their Tao heart to be complete. Once both conditions have been achieved, they will fuse, and this fusion is ascendant. This is the legendary, facing one's Tao. This fusion is a collision of one's Tao heart and celestial spiritual energy. The collision of the body and soul. An evolution from a human to a celestial. This is the biggest death trial of reaching the ascendant stage. Either this collision succeeds and one becomes an ascendant cultivator, or it fails and they die. There is no other outcome. A trial of death. To seek Tao, one must face trials of death. Even those who cultivate a variant path can't avoid this. Unless one stays at the peak of the late stage of soul transformation and never takes that step forward. Wang Lin's Tao heart rang the drum for the 15th time and released all of the sadness within. His Tao heart was going through a rapid metamorphosis toward completion. Everyone around the square was silently pondering. In just one day, Wang Lin had made them experience too many incredible things, so his figure was now engraved in all their hearts. Just at this moment, the lightning and thunder disappeared from the sky and a fiery redness appeared. From a distance, this red was boundless and seemed to cover the entire sky. The expression of the young man on the boat suddenly changed. Then he let out a bitter laugh and said, "I seem to have forgotten about this matter, but this little guy is a cultivator. Back then I spent a long time in the Dragon Lake and had many elders help me. In the end, with the help of the demon drum and several years of time, I was able to hide the defying aura and didn't cause a divine retribution. However, this is a test for this child. If he can resist this divine retribution, he won't be affected by the heavens anymore after he reaches the ascendant stage. And from the looks of it, this divine retribution's power isn't that great." Everyone in Sky Demon City noticed the change in the sky, and the people at the square were completely startled by this. The red light in the sky quickly condensed into a large number of red clouds. These red clouds looked heavy as they floated over the Imperial City. As Wang Lin stood behind the demon drum, he looked at the sky and let out a deep breath. The heavens Tao can't stop my Tao heart, but it can send punishment to erase my existence. This is divine retribution. I once saw divine retribution back in Chelin City in the Sea of Devils. Compared to that time, this is much more powerful. The red clouds gathered, and after an instant, red lightning began to gather. If the red lightning didn't fall or release an aura, this scene would be extremely beautiful. The young man on the boat looked at the bolt of lightning before letting out a sigh of relief and softly saying, "There are only two kinds of divine retribution that appear in the shape of a lightning bolt. It can't possibly be the legendary second one, so I'm 90% sure it is the first one, the simplest of them all. This little guy Wang Lin's luck is pretty good." Wang Lin looked at the sky. At this moment, he ignored everything else and only focused on the red lightning in the sky. I have had some encounters with divine retribution in my 700 years of cultivation. I attracted divine retribution when I refined the restriction flag. I changed Li Muwen's fate and caused the heaven's messenger to descend. This time I kept my lingering feelings and decided to defy the heavens while continuing to cultivate, and this also attracted divine retribution. Wang Lin's eyes were calm, but they were also filled with determination. The red clouds in the sky suddenly began to move and condense together like crazy. The sky right now was like a red sea, and all of the waves were rushing toward the center. In the blink of an eye, the red lightning at the center started shining brightly, lighting up the heavens and earth. Shortly after, waves of roars that seemed to come from primordial beasts came from the red lightning. Then a series of rumbles came from the earth and mixed together with the roars coming from the sky. At this moment, the red lightning descended. It was like a meteor that suddenly fell from the sky and crashed down upon Wang Lin. A crazy amount of killing intent suddenly appeared. This was the killing intent of the heavens. The heavens' killing intent. Sky Demon City, which was currently experiencing summer, experienced snow. The snowflakes fell from the sky, and every single snowflake contained the killing intent of the heavens. The red lightning came crashing down in this snow. There was only one sound left in this world, and that was the rumbling that represented the wrath of the heavens. There was only one color left in this world, and that was the blood red of the divine retribution lightning. There was only one killing intent left in this world, and that was the heavens' killing intent, which was more powerful than the killing intent one would obtain after slaughtering billions of people. The heavens wanted to kill someone. Wang Lin suddenly opened his eyes, and they released a bright glow as more than 3,700 life seals suddenly gathered around his body. At the same time, he slapped his bag of holding, causing the restriction flag to appear. With one shake, a large amount of black gas appeared around his body, and there were countless restrictions flashing inside the black gas. No matter how angry the heavens are, they can't erase my existence. As Wang Lin laughed, he pointed at the red lightning in the sky. At this moment, Wang Lin was as graceful as the sun and moon, his hair and clothes fluttered in the wind, and his eyes revealed an unyielding aura. At this comment, he was an indomitable man. With one point of his finger, the black gas around him charged into the sky. The countless restrictions inside the black gas formed a black tornado that welcomed the divine retribution. The red lightning descended and collided with the black tornado. At this moment, an unimaginable explosion echoed and rumbled across the land. The ears of countless people in Sky Demon City bled, and countless people were knocked out due to the shock. The spectators around the square suffered the same fate. Although the demon generals were better off, their demonic spiritual energy cycled through their bodies without their control. It was as if their bodies would collapse under this sound if they didn't do this. Only the commander-in-chiefs calmly looked at the divine retribution. The black tornado made of countless restrictions clashed with the red lightning without any hesitation. At this moment, it was as if a giant hand had just crushed the black tornado, causing it to collapse. The red lightning pierced through it and sliced it in half like a sharp sword. The tornado collapsed and the restrictions all shattered into nothingness. The heavens want to kill me, but I want to destroy the heavens. Wang Lin's body gave off an astonishing aura. At the moment the red lightning broke the restrictions, he suddenly lifted his finger and used the finger of death. This wasn't just one finger of death, but 100. Wang Lin's left hand touched his bag of holding and a large amount of celestial jades poured out, forming a small hill under his feet. Wang Lin was standing on top of the small hill with the demon drum behind his back. As he looked up at the sky, a large amount of celestial spiritual energy entered his body through his feet. The 100 fingers of death fused into one, transforming into a ray of black light more than 30 feet long, and charged out directly at the red lightning. I dare to defy the heavens to continue to cultivate, and keeping my lingering feeling means I wish to fight against heavens. Divine retribution, even if you can destroy my body, you can't destroy my Tao heart. Wang Lin's eyes lit up, and at this moment, the light from his eyes pierced through the red lightning and directly entered the red clouds. An even louder thunder echoed across the sky as if it was answering Wang Lin's Tao. The 100 fingers of death created a ray of death as they charged through the sky and collided with the red lightning. Then an even louder thunder echoed across the sky. At this moment, the entire sky trembled as if it was about to be flipped upside down. The finger of death absorbs life force and converts it into destruction. At the moment the finger of death collided with the red lightning, it had absorbed a lot of life, but it was still no match for the divine retribution lightning. Under the force of the red lightning, the black light from the finger of death rapidly dissipated until it was completely gone. The red lightning continued descending, but its color was a bit dimmer than before. Wang Lin's hair flowed in the wind as he looked at the red lightning with an unyielding gaze. He decided to simply remove all of the life seals that were protecting him and turn them into more than 3,700 strands of slaughter energy. His right hand pointed at the sky and the slaughter energy gathered at his hand. More than 3,700 strands of slaughter energy rushed out like a storm. As Wang Lin stood inside this storm, his eyes revealed powerful killing intent. Kill! With one shout, the slaughter energy in his hand quickly condensed. From more than 3,700 strands into one, it turned into a black dragon of slaughter. Wang Lin's eyes turned red. Not only did he have killing intent, he also had a heart of slaughter. He wasn't the type of person to have killing intent toward the heavens, but this was enough to make him a genius of the generation. A true genius. Wang Lin had a personality that was willing to do whatever was needed. It didn't matter if you were the heavens or the heavens Tao. If you wanted to kill him, then he'd kill you no matter who you are. With his heart of slaughter and his killing intent, the dragon formed by the slaughter energy seemed to gain a life of its own. This dragon represented Wang Lin's intent to defy the heavens. Slaughter. The dragon let out a roar and directly went to devour the red lightning. Even the divine retribution of the heavens seemed to dim at the moment it was devoured by the dragon. But divine retribution was punishment from the heavens, and it carried the killing intent of the heavens themselves. Although the slaughter dragon was strong, it still wasn't enough. The dragon collapsed, but its collapse caused the red lightning to dim even more and its size to shrink down. The roar of the dragon was still echoing in the sky as the red lightning pierced through the dragon and charged directly at Wang Lin. At the moment the red lightning descended, Wang Lin's hair began to flutter in a strange way, and a strange, black light appeared on his right index finger. Demonic finger. The red light in Wang Lin's eyes disappeared and was replaced by a light that could only exist in the eyes of a demon. All of the celestial spiritual energy in his body moved like crazy as it turned into demonic spiritual energy. At this moment, the small hill of jades below Wang Lin's feet, which was milky white before, now started to turn black as if black ink was being poured over it. In the blink of an eye, the entire small pile of celestial jades turned completely black. All of the celestial spiritual energy inside was completely changed into demonic spiritual energy. The demonic finger looked completely different from before. Even if Situ Nan were to come here personally and use the demonic finger, it wouldn't be much stronger than the one Wang Lin was using right now. This was because Wang Lin didn't only convert the celestial spiritual energy in his body but also all of the celestial spiritual energy in the small hill of celestial jades below his feet into an endless amount of demonic spiritual energy. What was inside the black light at the tip of his finger wasn't only demonic spiritual energy but also his Tao. It didn't matter if it was the celestial Tao or demonic Tao, this contained the defying nature Wang Lin had toward the heavens in his heart. The black light also contained strong attachment, Wang Lin's will to keep his lingering feelings for Li Muwen, and his courage to defy the heavens. It also contained the determination and unyielding nature from when he was a mortal who experienced many disasters and went through countless dangers as he walked down his own path in cultivation. This finger moved everyone's hearts. The black light rushed at the red light. At this moment, it was as if the world had reverted to the time of primordial chaos. The red was the sky and the black was the earth. The red represented divine retribution, and the black represented heaven-defying intent. The collision of red and black was heaven-shaking, and at this moment, the entire sky demon city trembled. The earthquake traveled to the surrounding mountains and plains as well. Sounds of explosions came from the ground as if there were countless bombs going off underground. An unimaginable force was created from these explosions, causing the entire square to completely collapse. All of the surrounding stands collapsed as well, sending countless people flying. All of the demon generals quickly retreated as if they would be caught up in this if they were one step too late. All of the Commander-in-Chief's expressions changed and they retreated, except for the Heaven Commander-in-Chief. He was the closest, and he saw everything before letting out a sigh. Then he touched his bag of holding and took out a jade bottle. He gave the jade bottle a meaningful look before throwing it at Wang Lin and leaving. In the sky above Wang Lin, the red and black cancelled each other out. With the power of the restriction flag, 100 fingers of death, more than 3,700 slaughter dragons filled with Wang Lin's heart of slaughter, and countless celestial jades converted into demonic spiritual energy to create the most powerful demonic finger Wang Lin has ever created, the red light was finally neutralized after all these spells were fused. The moment the red light disappeared, the ground stopped shaking and everything seemed to start returning to normal. But at this moment, the panic from the countless people in Sky Demon City created a depressing atmosphere that surrounded the entire city. At the moment the red lightning disappeared, Wang Lin's face was extremely pale. He caught the jade bottle the Heaven Commander-in-Chief gave him. There was one pill inside the bottle, but he didn't consume it. He looked up at the sky with a serious expression. Wang Lin didn't believe that the heavens would only send one bolt of divine retribution lightning when it wanted to kill someone. The young man on the boat also looked at the sky with a serious expression. There was a trace of shock on his face. The red cloud didn't dissipate, but there was no violent reaction, as if everything was calming down. But this calmness created an invisible pressure that enveloped the heavens and earth. The young man's expression changed greatly. He could no longer keep the composure he had before, and he took a step and disappeared. When he reappeared, he was in the sky above the Imperial City. When he came so close to the divine retribution cloud, his scalp couldn't help but go numb. This time it seems things have gotten out of hand. The young man bitterly smiled. Almost at the moment he appeared, his right hand reached out toward Wang Lin. He was about to bring Wang Lin out of the Imperial City to go through the divine retribution. If the divine retribution was what he first thought it was, then he wouldn't be this alarmed, but right now this divine retribution was giving him a bad feeling. Just as he was about to reach out, he suddenly stopped before looking up at the sky. He bitterly smiled and thought, since this little guy has been locked onto by the divine retribution, I don't have the ability to move him. Then the young man took a deep breath and without any hesitation opened his arms. His body flickered as he changed from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, and in an instant turned into 8 people. 8 identical young men quickly moved to the 8 cities around the Imperial City and activated a greater teleport spell to instantly move all of the residents away. This spell was extremely difficult. Even for this person, he had to use some secret technique to barely be able to pull it off. Just as he finished doing all of this, the sky suddenly changed. The red cloud in the sky quickly gathered above Sky Demon City. Then a sense of majesty came from the red clouds before they covered the entire city. The young man was in the sky outside of the city, and when he noticed this majesty, his expression changed once more. This is the heaven's might. Without any hesitation, he quickly landed on the ground. He bitterly smiled and said, "The heaven's might has appeared. I wonder if the ancestors will appear." Standing upon the shattered square, Wang Lin looked up at the sky. The unyielding nature in his eyes didn't change at all. The second punishment of the heavens descended. This time the divine retribution appeared in the form of the heaven's might. The heaven's might, what is this so-called heaven's might? The heaven's might is the might of the heavens. When the heaven's might moves, everything is destroyed. When the heaven's might moves, the sky changes color. When the heaven's might moves, no creature is allowed to resist it. You must yield under the heaven's might. Become suppressed below the heavens and give into its might. This is the heaven's might. As the heaven's might descended, a powerful pressure came from the sky. The massive red cloud in the sky descended by 1 inch. This descent of 1 inch caused the already shattered square to explode everywhere. The shockwave created by the explosion didn't even get to spread before being forced into the ground by this pressure. Under the might of the heavens, the shockwave didn't have the qualifications to even kick up dust. Wang Lin only felt his body become heavy as if there were millions of pounds pressing down on top of him. He could hear crisp bursting sounds coming from his body. At this moment, Wang Lin had the illusion that he was being squeezed by the world itself. This was the same feeling from back when he cultivated under the pressure of the spirit vein in the soul-refining sect. Back then his cultivation was wasted and he had regressed into a mere mortal. Shortly after, the heavens might moved once more, and all of the red clouds descended once more. This time the pressure increased even more and all of the palaces around the square collapsed into tiny pieces. This kind of collapse spread like crazy with Wang Lin as the center, and the heavens might slowly descended. In almost an instant, a small portion of the imperial palace began to collapse. Wang Lin's leg didn't move at all, as a powerful, unyielding aura exploded from his body. He raised his head as he looked at the red cloud in the sky and softly said, "I won't give in." Bursts of thunder came from the red cloud as it began to descend once more. 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. This time it descended 3 inches in a row, and the heavens might came crashing down. The earth made a sound like it couldn't withstand the pressure anymore. All of the buildings in the imperial palace were crushed under this pressure. The imperial city of the Sky Demon country, which stood for countless years, all turned to dust with the exception of the demon drum. At this moment, it was as if the sky had collapsed. This was the heavens' might. One must give in under the might of the heavens. If you don't give in, then you will be crushed to death by the heavens' might. If the heavens want to kill, then you must die. At the moment the imperial city turned into ruins, bursts of anger rushed out from underground. This video will end here.